Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Chase Field, a beautiful April evening in downtown Phoenix. Roof and panels are open here with Archie Bradley on the mound as the D-backs look to their unbeaten rookie to try and snap this 4-game losing streak. We are set for D-backs baseball against the Rockies right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. It's the Diamondbacks and the Rockies tonight, the second of a 3-game series here. But foremost on everyone's mind, the health of former Diamondbacks manager Kirk Gibson, who announced today he's recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. A statement from Gibby, who is the winningest manager in D-backs history. I have faced many different obstacles in my life and have always maintained a strong belief that no matter the circumstances, I could overcome those obstacles. With the support of my family and friends, I will meet this challenge with the same determination and unwavering intensity that I have displayed in all my endeavors in life. Bob, certainly a moment for a reflection here for a former D-back.
Yeah, it's really a sad day for everybody in baseball. Gibby spent 12 years of his career with the Detroit Tigers, 3 remarkable seasons with the Dodgers, a year each in Kansas City and Pittsburgh, and, of course, 5 years managing here in Arizona. Baseball is a very tight fraternity. Gibby's going to need a lot of support, and he has a huge support system as he gets ready to face this next challenge.
And a big part of that support system right here at Chase Field. Reaction today from the Diamondbacks.
He's a competitor, whether it's on the field or off, or his own personal life, and yeah, he's definitely going to tackle it head on. We know that, and it's, there's some great treatments out there, and he's going to have a lot of options. So. Again, I know that how close his family is, and that's what you need at a time like this, is family and friends and faith, and I know he's got all that.
If he deals with it like he does everything else, with his passion to compete in not just sports but in life, he'll attack it head on. He'll have a good attitude with it.
Anytime anybody's dealing with something tough off the field, that it really brings everything in perspective, and how little the game of baseball means in the grand scheme of things. At the same time, that's what a lot of us used to cope with stuff like that. So I think it'd be good to get back out on the field.
It's just tough, for somebody that you've known for the last 4 or 5 years, and you got pretty close with, and Gibby was one of those guys that was big time in my corner the last couple of years with me being injured a lot, and just hate to see it for anybody really, let alone your friends.
And best wishes to the Gibson family from everyone here at the Arizona Diamondbacks and Fox Sports Arizona. We are set for baseball here. There's rookie Archie Bradley set for his 4th big league start. He takes on Rockies veteran Kyle Kendrick. More coming up from Chase Field after this. On Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. He's been one of the best stories of this young season so far. There's Diamondback youngster Archie Bradley set for his 4th big league start. The Rockies and the Diamondbacks. First pitch is next from Chase Field here on Fox Sports Arizona. Bradley for Arizona, Kendrick for Colorado. Baseball when we come back. Beautiful April evening here in downtown Phoenix, and it's an Archie Bradley night for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Game 2 of 3 against the Colorado Rockies. And Archie is on the mound for his 4th start in the big leagues, facing a very potent Colorado lineup. The Rockies leading the majors with 47 doubles. They are second in all of baseball with 71 extra base hits. They are batting .310 with runners in scoring position. This is a tall order, Bob, for any pitcher, let alone a 22-year-old rookie.
It just doesn't get any easier for Archie Bradley. He's been matched up against some of the best in the game tonight, against the best offense in the National League. But you get the feeling Archie's looking forward to it. This is a guy that doesn't back down from a challenge. He knows what he can do and what he can't do. And you heard Mike Harkey alluding to his last start against the Rangers. Got 2 quick outs, and then the wheels fell off. But after that first inning, he was able to right the ship and get deep enough into the ballgame.
Archie's 1.45 ERA, the lowest in D-backs history for a pitcher through his first 3 big league starts. Looking to throw more strikes tonight. He's pitched just under 19 innings so far, allowed only 7 hits, and essentially, Bob, he's been a 2-pitch pitcher.
Yeah, just a fastball, a 4-seam fastball, and a curveball. The good thing is he's been able to keep both of those pitches down around the knees on a consistent basis, so he gets a lot of ground balls, a lot of weak contact.
And coming off that wild outing in his last start where he walked 3 and hit a batter in the first inning against Texas, settled down very nicely after that, retired 11 of the final 13 he faced, and found a way to get through 6 innings, giving up only 2 hits. So hoping for a clean first inning here against Charlie Blackmon and the Rockies, and we are set for baseball at Chase Field. Blackmon in there at 286. There's the strike. Mark Wegner, our plate umpire tonight, 1-1.
One thing in the early going, Archie's done a really nice job against left-handed hitters. Only Cole Hamels has a lower opponent's batting average from left-handed batters than Archie Bradley, and that's important because they have 4 dynamic left-handed hitters in this Rockies lineup.
Fastball by him. It's 1-2. Trying to get a nice tidy first inning here. No more 20 pitch plus first innings for Diamondback starters. That's been a disturbing trend. Fly ball right center field. Pollock, Trumbo, Aaron Hill out there, and Aaron has it, getting a start at second base tonight. 1 away. Let's take a look at the lineup for Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies.
We've seen Charlie Blackmon at the top. He'll be out in center field with Corey Dickerson in left. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop. Justin Morneau with an early home run in the ball game last night. He'll be at first base. Nolan Arenado, some Gold Glove plays at third last night. Carlos Gonzalez in right field. Nick Hundley doing the catching. DJ LeMahieu at second base, and Kyle Kendrick on the mound for the Rockies.
A former Philly, he was their opening day starter for the Colorado Rockies this year. Kyle Kendrick, the veteran, on the mound tonight. Here's Corey Dickerson. And again, Archie throws ball 1. Dickerson, top 10 in the league in hitting at .338. And he's 4th in the National League in OPS. Zips that one in there at 93. It's even 1-1. Diamondbacks have given up 16 first inning runs. That's the second most in the major leagues, behind only the Red Sox. Looking for a goose egg here in the first. Archie's ahead 1-2. And Dickerson, as usual, in the middle of things for the Rockies last night. He had 3 hits. He scored a run, had an RBI. It was his 9th multi-hit game already this year. Chased a high heater. First strikeout for Archie. 2 up, 2 down. A good start. Here comes Tulo.
Well, Archie doesn't elevate that fastball very often, but it was effective this time. Got Corey Dickerson to chase the pitch up around shoulder high out of the zone.
Troy Tulowitzki at 304. On base twice last night, a double and a walk. He scored twice. And of course had that epic at bat in the first inning last night against Chase Anderson. 13 pitches, during which he fouled off 5 consecutive 3-2 pitches before he worked a walk. And the next batter, Justin Morneau, smashed a 3-run homer. Jumps ahead, 0-2.
Even though you know the Rockies have seen a lot of video scouting on Archie Bradley and read the advance reports, it looks like they're trying to be a little more patient first time through, get a look at Archie Bradley.
Just inside with a fastball, 1-2.
They've taken more fastballs in the strike zone in this first inning than they did all night last night. These guys were coming out of their shoes.
You must have seen the walk totals from that first inning last start for Archie. Trying to see how wild he might be coming out of the gate here. That's foul just to the radio booth to our right. It was quite a high wire act for Archie against the Rangers. 3 walks and a hit batter in that first inning. But boy, did he do a terrific job of settling down. 6 innings of 2-hit ball and overcame the 5 walks. A ball and 2 strikes on Troy Tulowitzki. Gets it up in the air. Easy play for A.J. Pollock. And Archie Bradley has a nice, tight 1-2-3 inning. A good start for the Diamondbacks underway at Chase Field. A.J. Pollock in the leadoff spot. Chris Owings in the 2-hole tonight for the Diamondbacks against the Rockies starter. It's 30-year-old right-hander Kyle Kendrick. Now with Colorado after 8 years with the Phillies. Aaron Hill, a good track record against Kyle Kendrick. Here he is.
What his approach against us is going to be is obviously just keeping the ball down. We're a team that attacks, likes to attack and be aggressive, and we make our swings count when the ball's up in the zone, like most teams. But with him, he's got a good changeup, and his cutter is just going to try to be using both sides of the plate and keep the ball down.
Kendrick was the Rockies' opening day starter this year. He pitched very well at Milwaukee that day, but has not had any luck since. 1 2 in 4 starts, and the ERA is near 7. AJ leads it off.
He's had to pitch around a lot of traffic this year. In his 23 2/3 innings pitched, he's given up 29 base hits. He's walked 10 and hit 2. And also has surrendered 6 home runs, 5 of those coming at Coors Field.
And AJ belts that one into the gap in right center. Charlie Blackmon bobbles it. Pollock has an opening and he seizes it.
Well-struck ball into that gap in right center field, and AJ thinks double every time he makes contact. Go hard out of the batter's box, at least give yourself a chance, and Blackmon bobbles out there in the gap in right center, and AJ turns it in to an extra 90 feet.
They rule it a single, and E8. The error on the center fielder, Charlie Blackmon, puts Pollock at second base. For the number 2 hitter tonight, Chris Owings. CO in there at 227 for the year. Listening to Chip Hale talk about his lineup construction for tonight, and the word that he used was length. Looking for some more length out of this lineup, trying to beef up the bottom part. So he's got Aaron Hill in the 7th spot and Owings hitting second tonight. A little more meat on the bone, as it were. Base hit. Diamondbacks jumping on Kyle Kendrick early. They're on the corners, nobody out for Goldie.
Even though it didn't score a run, that's a base hit with the runner in scoring position for Chris Owings. Diamondbacks 1 for 1 in that category tonight. They've really struggled, however, over their last 8 games with runners in scoring position. 5 for 60. It's an .083 team batting average with runners in scoring position. Those timely hits, Chip's talked about it in the past. It seems like they run in cycles. Diamondbacks are due for a real good cycle.
Just waiting for that big hit time and time again. And with the sun setting in left center field, here's Goldie hitting .294. Belts it into center. 1-0 Diamondbacks. 3 batters, 3 singles. Well, Goldie tied for 3rd in the league in RBIs, gets number 17 right there.
And the Diamondbacks 2 for 2 tonight with runners in scoring position. Goldie takes a cutter right in the middle of the plate. Kendrick ought to be thanking his lucky stars. Goldie didn't pull that one out of here. That was a meatball.
The line is moving for Mark Trumbo. He's got Owings at second, Goldschmidt at first. Mark hitting just over .280 on the year. Strike 1, says Mark Wegner behind the plate. Mark 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. He was on base 3 times with a walk and a pair of doubles. Another base hit. That one's going to find a gap. Owings will score. Goldie's on the run. Andy Green will wave him home, and Mark Trumbo's headed for 3rd. Well, the wake-up call has been sounded, Bob Brenly.
Wow. If you weren't awake, the ringing of the Diamondbacks bats would wake you up. Four batters, four solid contact. Mark Trumbo with his third triple of the season. It's highly unusual to see a triple to the gap in left center. More likely to be down the line in right or in the gap in right center, but Mark Trumbo with the play right in front of him never breaks stride and ends up with an RBI triple.
David Peralta. Diamondbacks have opened up with 4 straight base hits. 3 triples in 1 year, ties a career high. Remember, he had triples in the first 2 games of the year. Taking advantage of that big ballpark. 1-0 to Peralta. This is along the left field line. Dickerson gives it a look, and he can't quite get there. He's already got that bad foot and bad quad. That couldn't have helped.
He kind of looked off the baseball there so he could protect himself against the sidewall. Nice effort, but didn't really come close.
Bounced foul right by Dave McKay at first. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. And we're just going to call this Taco Tuesday.
Good start so far.
Yeah, we haven't had tacos since last Wednesday. We're due.
That's in the dirt. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Peralta hitting .205 on the year. Grounded out on a hard hit ball to first in his only at bat last night. David has hit the ball pretty well lately. Not a whole lot to show for it. He's had a few atom balls. Tapper back to the mound. Trumbo will freeze and go back to the bag at third, and they throw out Peralta. So Kendrick finally records an out. That brings up Tomas. A similar play to the one that Yasmani Tomas kind of stole a run on last night.
Snuck down that third base line, and when Nolan Arenado squared up to throw the ball to first base, Yasmani took off for the plate. A great slide to get underneath the tag of Michael McHenry. He had an inspired ball game last night. Played some good defense, hit the ball hard even though he had nothing to show for it, and a tremendous base running play.
Solid night defensively. Hit a couple of lasers off the barrel of the bat. 1 to left center field, 1 right to third. 4 for 17 on the year and in an RBI spot here. Roller Arenado at third. Trumbo's back in time. They throw out Tomas. Nice play by Mark to dive back there. Mike Winters signaled safe on the base runner. But the runner is still at third now with 2 outs.
Ooh.
Yeah. Here comes Walt Weiss.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Just another Gold Glove play by Arenado. Presence of mind to apply the tag as he's lining up to throw across the diamond to first base.
Ladies and gentlemen, the previous play is under
That's just nowhere for Mark to go right there.
The review has been initiated.
This one shouldn't take long.
By the Colorado Rockies.
It's another replay review brought to you by Mix One. Our friends at Mix One are keeping track of all the challenges and replays in which the Diamondbacks are involved this year. And we've got Mark Wegner, the plate umpire, Mike Winters, the crew chief, and the third base umpire on the headsets to New York. And this one's already done. He is out at third. And that's the end of the inning. But a great start for the Diamondbacks. They get 4 hits and 3 runs. And for a team looking for some offense lately, they waste no time here. Pollock, Owings, Goldie, and Trumbo. And after 1, it's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
Welcome back to Chase Field. I'm Kate Longworth. Well, we've heard offense is contagious, but according to Mike Harkey, the same can be said for pitching. And the evidence is here in the numbers, with the starters each displaying high pitch counts in that first inning. Harkey explained his guys are just struggling to get a feel for their pitches early, but what he's impressed upon Archie and crew is to establish what's working for them in their bullpen session and rely on that early. And then you establish your other pitches intermittently. He said the problem is when you start working too hard on making it all work real fast that you start pressing. But Harkey explained to me it's common for a pitcher to have an inning that they struggle with. He said for him it was a fifth inning. When I asked him why, he said, guys, he would get too focused on that W. But hopefully, Archie, he's in a good place to get the W after getting out of that first.
Well, he's rolling here, Kate, ahead of Justin Morneau, 1-2. A 13-pitch first for Archie, just what the doctor ordered, and now he's got a 3-run lead on top of that. And the shift is on for Morneau. Belts one toward the pool in right center field. And it's in the pool. This guy's been a first-inning problem so far in this series. The 3-run homer last night and a leadoff double in the second.
Curveball looked to be right in the middle of the strike zone. Well, up a little bit, about belt high for Morneau, and he recognized it quickly, kept his hands back, and split that gap in right center field for the leadoff double.
And Tony La Russa often talks about the importance of the shutdown inning, getting that lead and then going out in the next half inning and shutting the other team down and creating some momentum for yourself. We'll see if Archie can strand that runner with Nolan Arenado, who made a brilliant defensive play to win the bottom of the first. There's so many good things about this play. Where do you start?
Just making the play on a tough hop right down the line. You got the runner diving back into the bag. He has the presence of mind to apply the tag and throw across the diamond. Made it look like an easy double play.
And our replay review on that inning ender brought to you by Mix One.
And you're right, there was really nothing Mark Trumbo could do about that. After he took his lead off third base, he couldn't outrun the ball back to the bag.
Yeah, there's nowhere for Mark to go. A ball and a strike to Arenado, who's in there at just over 300 for the year. It's drifting near the seats and out of play.
And Morneau double, only the eighth hit that Archie's given up this season, the first extra base hit. Lefty, excuse me.
Yeah, he came into the ball game having pitched just under 19 innings and given up a total of just 7 hits. He's ahead of Arenado, a ball and 2 strikes. Fastball misses inside. It's 2-2. The numbers on Arenado. And Archie flat out wild in his last start, but recovered so well to beat the Rangers and seemingly learn some big league lessons there. We'll see if that carries over into tonight. That's in the seats as well. He certainly had to regain his balance in that start last week. And, you know, it almost seemed certain that he'd topple over and not even survive the first. The bullpen was ready. Andrew Chafin was throwing down there. It turned out to be a 37-pitch first inning against Texas. But Archie said he knew he was struggling, just kept grinding, kept fighting, and that's what he was most proud of in that start against the Rangers. He was able to survive the long first and then grind through 6 innings and leave with the D-backs ahead on the scoreboard. All part of the learning process for a rookie. 2-2. Got him. Second strikeout for Bradley, 1 down.
Big to get the out and leave that runner at second base.
Right fielder.
Pitch was just off that outside corner. Arenado looked like he was trying to punch it to the right side to move that runner up, but came up empty.
Carlos Gonzalez now. Just over 200 to start the year. Arco trying to get it going, but was on base 3 times in last night's series opener, a single and a pair of walks. Starting to show signs that he's coming around. He's healthy. Ball 1. Cargo hit safely in each of the Rockies' first 4 games this year, including 3 doubles and a home run. But then sank deep into a 4 for 40. And he's only recently shown signs of coming out of that. Two and 0. Ken Crenshaw, the trainer, is out there. Ryan DePanflo, the assistant trainer, Chip Hale, and Mike Harkey.
Archie appears to be conscious out there on the mound as he's being tended to. Obviously, concern on both sides of the field and in the stands. Sometimes things just supersede competition. Everybody's concerned.
Appears to have struck Archie Bradley in the side of the face. There's some significant swelling there. Ken Crenshaw is the gentleman with his back to the camera, the head trainer. Ryan DePanflo, his assistant. And you can see. Struck apparently on the side of the head by a Carlos Gonzalez line drive, and Archie Bradley exits. We'll be back from Chase Field right after this. after he was struck apparently on the side of the face by a Carlos Gonzalez line drive. He's being attended to right now in the Diamondbacks clubhouse, and we can tell you the only good news so far, of course, he has the best care in the world available to him. We are not going to show you a whole bunch of replays here for obvious reasons. We will do feel compelled to give you one more look at what happened here just a few moments ago. You can see the immediate concern there from Tuffy Gozawish, the catcher, and just nowhere for Archie to go there, Bob.
It looked fortunately like he was able to turn to his left as the ball was making contact, which possibly minimized the damage, but you could clearly see the swelling on the right side of his face. He was bleeding out of his mouth and his nose, but got up and walked off the field under his own power. So we'll keep you posted as we hear word from the Diamondbacks training room.
And there's Ryan DePanfilo, the assistant trainer, updating the Diamondbacks players in the Arizona dugout as to the condition of Archie Bradley. And it's been a tremendous start to a very promising career. And let's just hope this is just a quick temporary bump in the road.
Now pitching, number 40, Andrew
And so Andrew Chafin, the rookie left-hander, will come in and try and give Chip Hale some length out of that bullpen, his 7th appearance of the year.
He's done a nice job out of the bullpen attacking that strike zone. 2-pitch mix fastball and a slurvy breaking ball. Hogan's hitting only 171 against the Diamondbacks left-hander this year.
So Chafin on for Bradley.
Number 4, Nick Hundley.
He's got Justin Morneau at third base and Carlos Gonzalez at first. One out here in the second inning. 3-0 Diamondbacks lead. And the hitter will be Rockies catcher Nick Hundley. Hundley off to a good start with Colorado. He's hitting .315. And as soon as we have some information about the condition of Archie Bradley, we will, of course, pass it along to you here on Fox Sports Arizona. A ball and a strike.
Yeah, obviously we're concerned and want to find his condition as quickly as possible, but nobody more concerned right now than Carlos Gonzalez at first base. You know, it's an occupational hazard. It happens in the game from time to time, but you don't want to be the guy at the plate when it does happen.
Two and one.
I just had it pointed out to me here, and I remember this now when former Diamondback catcher Kelly Stinnett hit a line drive off the forehead of Billy Wagner, and the ball bounced from the mound into the stands in the air. Yeah, scary moment here at then Bank One ballpark. Every pitcher that takes the mound knows that that's a possibility. That ball could possibly come right back at you. And some guys, not saying this is a case with Archie, but some guys are not in good fielding position. They're not anticipating the ball coming back their direction. I don't think there's anything in the world he could have done with that bullet off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez.
So Chafin comes in a tough spot and walks the first man he faces. Hundley to load the bases with one out.
Second baseman, number 9, DJ LeMahieu.
And it brings up the Major League's leading hitter, DJ LeMahieu. Justin Morneau is at third. Gonzalez at second and Hundley at first. LeMahieu at .415 leading the big leagues. And up there in a big spot, bases loaded, one out. There's a strike. Is there a way to approach this guy, Bob, that might work best here?
Well, it's hard to say because he's swinging the bat so well in the early going. But if you look at his hit charts, he seems to handle the ball middle of the plate. Most guys do. He handles the ball in very well, but seems to have some issues with pitches low and away. Of course, if you could make that pitch all the time, nobody would ever hit.
In the center. Morneau will score. They'll stop Gonzalez at third. And the Rockies are on the board. It's 3-1.
Pitcher number 38, Kyle Kendrick.
Too close for comfort after what just happened to Archie Bradley. That ball whistled right past Andrew Chafin on into center field for an RBI base hit.
Brings up the pitcher, Kyle Kendrick. Gonzalez, Hundley, and LeMahieu, third to first. Still only one out. Joe's bunt. Goldie crashes in from first. It's a ball, 1-0.
Kendrick 3 for 8 on the young season. He's never been much of a hitter, a 139 career hitter at the plate. Stu Cole looking into the Rockies bench for some signs that he will then relay to Kyle Kendricks. You saw him show bunt on that first pitch. I think perhaps the thinking is stay out of a double play. The Rockies have a chance for a huge inning here if they can roll back around to the top and only have Kendrick make one out here somehow.
It's a hack at that one. It's 1-1. Strike three. 2 down.
Walt Weiss got his wish there. Kendrick only made one out.
Fielder Charlie Blackmon.
Brings up Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man. He popped out to second base his first time up. Blackman's hit safely in 4 straight games and 9 of his last 10. He's got Gonzalez at third. Hundley, the catcher, at second, and DJ LeMahieu at first. There's a strike, 0-1. Dribble to second. Aaron Hill has it. And they get Blackmon to leave the bases loaded. The Rockies get one. We go to the bottom of the second. Diamondbacks lead it 3-1. Having lost their starter, Archie Bradley struck in the face by a line drive off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez, walked off the field under his own power. And again, as soon as we have information as to Archie's condition, we will pass it along to you immediately. In the meantime, Aaron Hill leads off the home half of the second against Kyle Kendrick in a 3-1 ball game.
We'll see if the Diamondbacks offense tries to ambush Kendrick again in inning 2 like they did at the beginning of this game. The first 7 pitches they saw, they swung at 4 of them, had 4 base hits, and scored 3 runs.
Rockies going to the defensive overshift on the left-hand side for Aaron Hill. He's in there just under 160 on the year, but good career numbers against Kyle Kendrick, 8 for 12. It's up in the air to shallow left field. Tulowitzki has it drifting out to left center, 1 away.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised more teams haven't shifted on Aaron Hill over the course of his career. He's proven to me and everybody that watches him on a daily basis, he's a dead pull hitter. But the Rockies are the first team to slide that second baseman on the left side of the infield.
Tuffy Gozawish in there with a 190 average. Tuffy hitless last night. He did walk and score a run. Also had an RBI.
The RBI was on a very similar hit to that foul ball down the first baseline. He hit it right off the end of the bat with some side spin right out toward Troy Tulowitzki. Looked like a routine 2-hopper. Got right underneath Tulo's glove for an RBI.
Right through the Coors Shield. One.
2 more off-speed pitches already this inning for Kyle Kendrick. Tried to establish that cut fastball early in that first inning, and the Diamondbacks hitters were all over it.
Kyle Kendrick, 10-13 in 32 starts for the Phillies last season. The ERA just over 4.5. And now here he is with the Rockies. Bounces that one. He had a kind of a different take on joining Colorado. You know, usually it's like a death sentence for some pitchers, but you know, he said this is an opportunity to join a team that scores a lot of runs. They got defensive gold glovers all over the infield, so he was excited to sign with the Rockies. There's a strike, 3-2. Bounced over the mound, Tulowitzki. Here's one of the Gold Glove infielders. 2 up, 2 down in the second.
You're right about that Gold Glove infield. We saw Arenado at third baseline putting on a clinic last night. He was fielding everything that came down his way, and there were some hard hit balls at him down at third base. Tulowitzki, we know all about his defensive prowess and that strong throwing arm, and DJ LeMahieu won his first Gold Glove last season at second base.
Morneau not bad at first. Case in point. So the Coors Shield comes down on the Diamondbacks in the second. We go to the third. They lead it 3-1. Is coming up this season. Next Saturday, May 9th, get the Josh Colmenter bobblehead, courtesy of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. And don't forget Mom on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 10th. Moms can get the ladies' tea, courtesy of Fry's. And then on Sunday, May 24th, you can pick up the D-backs Fedora cap, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. Still awaiting news on the condition of Archie Bradley, left in the top of the second inning after he was struck in the face by a line drive off the bat of the Rockies' Carlos Gonzalez. Andrew Chafin on in relief here as we start the third. It'll work to Corey Dickerson, Troy Tulowitzki, and Justin Morneau, 2, 3, and 4. Dickerson struck out his first time against Archie. And so a tough spot here for Andrew Chafin. And he says a lot of the things we used to hear Josh Colmenter say about moving from being a starter his whole career to being a reliever. He says he likes the excitement coming out of the bullpen. It's kind of a hey, you get in there kind of a thing. And certainly that's the case here tonight.
You're up, you're in.
No notice after Archie fortunately walked off the field under his own power. But just a horrifying moment for everybody. Tough to sort of refocus and recalibrate and think about balls and strikes. But Andrew has not had any issues with the quirks of pitching in these types of conditions. In fact, he likes the fact that he says there's just not as much thinking involved. You're able to go out there and let it fly. And he's got to do that here tonight. He's down on Dickerson 3-0.
And that's where Tuffy Gosewich really helps out this pitching staff, especially the youngsters like Andrew Chafin. Don't worry so much about the advance report. I will digest it. I'll figure out a game plan for each one of you guys. Just throw what I call for and put it in a good location. Dickerson likes to chase that high fastball. That one inside. The one that Archie struck him out with back in the first inning was up and away. He takes a rip. Doesn't get cheated.
Leadoff walk. Chafin came in after Archie left with the injury. Walked the first batter he faced Hundley, and now he walks Dickerson to open up the third.
Shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki.
Brings up Troy Tulowitzki, who flied out his first time. There's Ken Crenshaw, the head trainer for the Diamondbacks. Giving some updates to the D-backs players as to Archie's condition. And as soon as we get word, we will pass it along to you. There's a strike to Tulo, 0-1.
It's odd to see a Rocky hitter take a base on balls. Only the Milwaukee Brewers and the Pirates have drawn fewer walks than the Rockies this year.
They are up there swinging. Oh, 0-2. Andrew Chafin, D-backs first round draft pick 4 years ago out of Kent State. And while he was in the Diamondbacks minor league system, he was almost exclusively a starting pitcher. So this is not exactly new for him to be in this early in the ballgame. 84 minor league appearances, all but 9 of those were starts. This is inside. It's 1-2. And all of those relief outings in the minor leagues were when Andrew was back in A-ball. That was 3 years ago. But he has adjusted to this new role pretty quickly.
Well, it's that old question. Would you rather be a starter in Reno or a reliever in the big leagues?
B.
Yes. And a lot of guys that start their career. As a matter of fact, most starting pitchers, they start at the major league level out of the bullpen. A long relief or setup guy late in the ball game if they've got a big arm. And then gradually increase the innings, increase the arm strength, and work their way into a position to be in the rotation.
And Andrews said all the right things after he was named to the opening day roster. And he was pressed about being moved from a starter to a reliever, and did that bother him at all, that type of thing. He said, look, anything he can do to go out and help the team, he'd be willing to do that. And if it's in the starting rotation, awesome. If it's in the bullpen, awesome. And so tonight, in a strange way, a little bit of both. A very good season, Double-A Mobile last year. 4-1 in 9 starts, a 1.96 ERA. Was a Southern League midseason All-Star as a starting pitcher. Gets Tulowitzki to chase that one in the dirt. And first base occupied. That's the strikeout. Second strikeout for Chafin. First out here in the third.
Good slider down. Started on the outside corner, broke over the heart of the plate, but as it was moving laterally, that ball really dive bombed down into the dirt. Get that swinging strike.
Chafin pitched 15 scoreless postseason innings with the Aces in the Coast League Championship Series last fall as a starter, including a big 4-hit shutout at Las Vegas. So he's got a good track record as a minor league starter. Justin Morneau looks at strike one. Doubled and scored his first time.
Ballpark in Vegas is not an easy place to shut people out. Oof. Oh, man.
It's a tough league on pitchers.
That was the ballpark they used to fly guys in to have home run derby.
Go get him, kid.
It was always tough to get ball players to go to Las Vegas in the wintertime.
Twist my arm.
Yeah, please, twist my arm.
Well, Michael Brenly was a running rebel, wasn't he?
Yeah, they didn't play at Cashman Field, though. They played over on campus at UNLV, and there was a wind tunnel. But I think all the ballparks in Vegas are wind tunnels. But that one at Cashman Field, that is a pitcher's nightmare.
Into center, a base hit. Morneau 2 for 2.
What is it about guys that just seem to, every time they put the ball in play, it finds a hole? I mean, don't get me wrong, Justin Morneau is a great hitter, but his ground balls go up the middle of the field. They find the hole between first and second. I'm sure he would say he's gone through long stretches where he hit it right at people, but when guys are swinging the bat good, it seems like everything finds a hole.
He's got Dickerson on second, Morneau at first, one away. Nolan Arenado, who struck out against Archie Bradley his first time. That's 4 hits for the Rockies. Arenado hitless last night, did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly. Fans, baseball is finally here. It's happening all around us. So grab a Pepsi, some friends, and get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's for the thrill of the game. Pepsi, live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Grab and go.
A ball and a strike. Arenado has always been an aggressive hitter. He used to jump at the first fastball he saw all the time, but he's a little more patient now. He says he's starting to see the off-speed pitches better up there, and I think we just saw a case of that. They got ahead in the count 2-1. He improves his strike zone discipline. He's really going to be a dangerous hitter up there. It's under that one a bit, right center field. Long run for A.J. Trumbo coming in. Pollock can't get there. Runners had to hold up, and the Rockies will have the bases loaded. Just too far to run in this big ballpark.
Nice diving effort right at the end by A.J. Arenado took a big swing, freezing Pollock in his tracks out there in center field. Looked like he had a bead on it, took the dive right at the last instant, just missed the ball.
That's a base hit. And so the Rockies have a bases loaded, 1-out threat for Carlos Gonzalez. And the last time he was up, he hit a rocket that struck Archie Bradley in the face. Dickerson at third, Morneau is at second, and Arenado at first. This is where Andrews really got to pick up his defenders behind him. He got a nice pop up there, just what he was looking for against a good hitter. But it just found a hole. One and one.
Chafin with the opportunity to face 4 lefties in this lineup tonight. That's Walt Weiss doesn't mess with his lineup very much. You'll occasionally see Drew Stubbs in there against a tough lefty, and either Dickerson or Blackman will have a seat. We saw Michael McHenry catch for Nick Hundley last night, but very few changes with this Rockies lineup.
1-2. Got him. Good pitch there by Andrew Chafin.
Your pitcher's talking about adding and subtracting. I think Andrew took a little bit off that breaking ball, rolled it up there, and got Cargo way out front.
Third strikeout for Chafin, trying to get out of this bases loaded mess now. He'll work to Nick Hundley, who walked his last time up. That was the first batter that Chafin faced after coming in for Archie. Hundley has hit in 5 straight games. He's got 8 hits over that span. He's had a good start to the year. Bases loaded, 2 down. 0-1. Nick Hundley signed a free agent deal with the Rockies in December. He got 2 years, $6.25 million. Split last season between the Padres and the Orioles, and had a good run with Baltimore there over the course of the second half of the year. Played in the American League Division Series and LCS with the Orioles. Right field corner, but drifting foul. This was the previous foul ball.
Oh, yeah. Nice play, sir.
Didn't spill a drop. I think the young man would like the baseball.
Had it all the way. Nothing to it.
Might be a contract there, people. Oh, and 2 just misses there. Mark Wegner not going to give Chafin that strike call.
Tough, way off the inside corner there. Yeah, he holds it right in front of his face mask, but he was already set up off the inside part of the plate. That ball clearly not in the strike zone, even though some of the associate umpires here behind home plate thought it was.
1-2 is in there. A nice job there by Andrew Chafin to pick up his defenders behind him, and he leaves them loaded with 2 big strikeouts. He gets Gonzalez, he rings up Hundley. It's 3-1 Diamondbacks.
is brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers.
Bottom third at Chase Field, Diamondbacks. Hello. Lead the Rockies 3-1. And A.J. Pollock, who singled and scored to lead off the ball game for Arizona, leads off the third. A.J.'s hit extended his hitting streak to 8 games. That's a new career high. First 4 Diamondback hitters against Kyle Kendrick reached with base hits. Pollock singled, Owing singled, Goldie singled, and Trumbo tripled. Never gets old, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's out of range, isn't it? I don't want that thing to get hit.
Keep it out there with your truck. 3-0. Should be safe out there, but you never know. Rolled to short, 2-0.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game. We mentioned it briefly earlier, but I would suggest you get in your Valley Honda. Drive to Taco Bell tomorrow. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm telling you, win today, tacos tomorrow. Score a couple more runs, we're gold.
I like how you bring all the sponsors together. It's nicely done. Taco Tuesday. Only 2 more runs. Chris Owings singled and scored his first time. Kyle Kendrick fires strike 1. Kendrick winless in his last 3 starts. He's had a rough go of it. And had a rough first. Kendrick was tagged for 8 runs, all earned in 5 innings against the Cubs. That was April 11th. He walked 5 in that game. Gave up 6 earned in less than 5 innings at a loss at Dodger Stadium when he walked 4. Was a little better his last time out, only 1 walk. But a no decision against the Padres at Coors Field, 4 runs on 7 hits in 7 innings.
Well, after that start to the ball game, he has used his fastball sparingly ever since, trying to get ahead with off-speed deliveries, coming back with another off-speed pitch. If he falls behind with that first one, they've scared him off his fastball.
They were jumping on that in the first. Easy play for Gonzalez, 2 down. Here comes Goldie. And Kendrick, a rarity on the Colorado staff, Bob, a pitcher who has seen some postseason experience. Although that was back in Game 2 of the 07 NL Division Series when he was pitching for the Phillies. When he lost to, wait for it, the Rockies. Lasted less than 4 innings, still the only playoff appearance of Kendrick's career. Here's Goldie. An RBI single and a run scored his first time. Belted to center. Right at Charlie Blackmon. We go to the 4th. Diamondbacks lead at 3-1.
donation.
Well, obviously, it's a unique situation as Andrew Chafin steps in for the injured Archie Bradley. But this year, we've seen the relievers called upon to not just go one inning, but rather multiple innings. Mike Harkey told me this was in place for some of the bullpen arms to have more lengthy outings because with such a young rotation, the team needed to be prepared this season because there were some question marks. So the relievers needed to be ready to pick up for the starters wherever they left off, especially early in the game. As for the guys going the distance, Brad Ziegler explained to me the length really is no problem. It's the recovery time they have to focus on, taking care of their arms and their body that next day so they're able to bounce back.
Thank you, Kate. This is in the air to right field. Easy play for Trumbo. They are going to have nights in this system of bridge guys, and that's the sort of the term that Chip Hale likes to use, Bob. I guess we're going to have nights here and there where guys just flat out aren't available because, like in Huddy's case, you don't want him back-to-back days, or somebody like Delgado or Chafin, they work multiple innings.
Yeah, unfortunately, up to this point of the season, even with some short outings by the starting pitchers, they've been able to ham and egg it pretty good. There's been times Andrew Chafin has come in and given him multiple innings. Randall Delgado has done the same thing on occasion.
Kendrick laces one down the left field line. Peralta will play it off the bullpen wall, and the Rockies pitcher has a one-out double.
Pulled through with that left hand. Unorthodox looking swing, but a good result for Kyle Kendrick, dumping that double down into the left field corner.
Brings up Charlie Blackmon, who's 0 for 2. Bunts it up the first base line, but foul.
It's not uncommon to see a left-handed hitter facing a left-handed pitcher to try to bunt his way on base. Breaking ball, that left-handed breaking ball, sometimes it's tough to hang in there as a left-handed hitter, and one way to combat that is just try to bunt it to that first base side, hope the pitcher falls off the third base side of the mound, and try to beat it out for a bunt hit.
Well, this is a guy that has a lot of tools, Charlie Blackmon. He's got power, he's got speed. Chafin fires that one in there and jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Blackmon making a concerted effort this season to see more pitches from the leadoff spot. He's been making some progress there, taking longer at bats, getting deeper into the count. On the defensive here, a ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know if this makes any sense, partner, but most of the things I say don't make sense. Chafin pitches taller than he is. He's listed at 6'2" in the Diamondbacks media guide, but he stands very tall on the rubber. He lands on that stiff front leg. He's got a high over-the-top delivery. He pitches like a guy that would be 6'5" or 6'6".
Well, some guys can be sneaky fast. He can be sneaky tall.
Sneaky tall.
Put that in the scouting report. Well, he's sneaky tall.
He's a lot taller than he looks.
Pardon me? 6'2", 223.
Yeah, really gets up on top. You know, a lot of lefties, especially as the game goes on and the pitch count starts to tally up, that arm slot will drop down a little lower and a little lower and a little lower, which is a sign that a guy's starting to lose it. But Andrew, when he's on top of that ball and staying tall on the rubber, he really gets a good downward plane going.
He's been effective, but he's labored here. Not to throw his 50th pitch. That's a fair ball. By Goldie and down the right field line. Kendrick is going to come in and score here. Blackmon has an RBI triple. It's a 3-2 ball game. double, pardon me. That was so slow down there. Thought Blackman with his speed might try and stretch that into 3, but he's content for the RBI double.
He was thinking about it. That time Chafin left that breaking ball in the inside part of the plate, just inside the bag at first, and by the time Trumbo tracks it down, long throw back into the infield, but they were able to hold Blackman at second base.
Mark Trumbo had to run a long way to go get that one. It kind of died over there by the wall. So now the Rockies have the tying run on second. Double and RBI for Blackman. Still 1 out. And the dangerous Corey Dickerson is in there. He walked his last time up.
The Rockies, as you might imagine, don't run a whole lot. They've got 6 stolen bases as a team. Blackman has 2. He's tied for the team lead with backup catcher Michael McHenry.
Sure.
That's a beautiful thing.
You're beaming over there. Chafin about to throw his 50th pitch. Anderson Ford bullpen. He's going to be busy down there tonight. Daniel Hudson now throwing. 50 pitches for Andrew, 31 for strikes. Somebody asked A.J. Ellis, the Dodgers catcher, about Corey Dickerson, and Ellis said there's just nowhere to pitch him. Because when Dickerson was a call-up in 2013, you could pitch away to him. Next thing you know, he's hitting opposite field home runs at Dodger Stadium at night. And now Ellis says, you know, with his timing and his rhythm, he can hit balls out of the zone. There's just no safe spot to pitch to Corey Dickerson. Shoots it on the ground as shortstop. Owens. Backhand scoop by Goldie as Blackman moves up. 2 down for Tula.
Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki.
Slight hesitation there. I think CO had thoughts about trying to get Blackman going second to third right there, right in front of him. He may have had a play on him at third base, but chose to take the sure out across the diamond.
So Blackman at third, 2 outs for Troy Tulowitzki. He has flied out and struck out 0 for 2. Chafin struck him out in their first showdown tonight. Round 2 right here. Off the fist, and that one is going to drop in front of Peralta for a tie ball game. Just a dying Quail out there, and it's 3-3.
First baseman Justin
Troy Tulowitzki really keeps his bat in the hitting zone for a long time, and when you do that, occasionally you're going to get jammed, but Tulo's strong enough to muscle it out there into left field, tying this one up.
And be careful with Morneau, who's 2 for 2. He's doubled, singled, and scored a run. On base 3 times last night. He's having a big series.
Slow breaking ball from Andrew Chafin. That's been a good weapon for him against these lefties. He did leave that one down and in to Blackman, and he doubled down the right field line, but for the most part, that's been a good weapon for him against these left-handed hitters.
Tulowitzki will take second, and Tuffy throws him out. It rolled away, not quite far enough away for Tulowitzki to make it in there. And the tough he goes to wish defensive play ends the inning. But the Rockies keep chipping away. We got a tie ball game now in the fourth.
Right fielder, Mark Trumbo.
3-3 in the fourth inning here at Chase Field. The Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Mark Trumbo will lead it off for Arizona. Let's take a look now at our T-Mobile game-changing player. Mark Trumbo, a 2-run triple, his first at bat tonight. Most triples for the Diamondbacks all time through 20 games. He's on the list. He's got a few innings to try and set his own mark.
He's tied for the most triples in the National League with Ben Revere.
I comp those two all the time.
Yeah.
Trumbo, Revere. Tough call.
Mark Trumbo could carry Ben Revere in his back pocket.
The Diamondbacks trying to get the offense going after the first 4 batters of the ball game for Arizona reached on base hits against Kyle Kendrick, including the Trumbo triple. But since then, Kendrick has retired the last 8 Diamondbacks he's faced. And he'll work to Trumbo, Peralta, Tomas, 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona fourth. Rockies have out-hit the Diamondbacks 8-4. All 4 of those hits coming in the first 4 batters.
And just in case you're wondering, the Diamondbacks record for triples in a career, Stephen Drew by a wide margin. Stephen Drew with 52 triples as a Diamondback in 7 seasons. Tony Womack is in second place with 37.
Bounced up the middle, under the glove of Tulowitzki, and Trumbo's aboard. He's 2 for 2. He was 2 for 4 last night, a couple of doubles. 2 for 2 here tonight with a triple. Mark Trumbo.
Left fielder, David Peralta.
Kind of splashed in the dirt out in front of home plate. Put it in a good spot, just out of the reach of Troy Tulowitzki.
Our truck says that one was too low for too low.
Ooh.
Yeah, so nice going, Derek. Stay hot. David Peralta. This is the bat, Bob, that I think needs to get going, especially from the left-hand side. You're looking to lengthen that order. That was the word that Chip Hill used with his lineup tonight. And you know, it's been tough for David to get consistent playing time, consistent at bats. It's always hard to hit like that, but this is an opportunity for him to kind of light a fire here. 205 on the year. Tap back to the mound in his first at bat tonight.
Unfortunately for David, the Diamondbacks have seen an unusual amount of left-handed starters this year, and that usually sends David to the bench in favor of Ender Inciarte out there in left field, who handles left-handed pitching pretty well.
David hit 197 against lefties last year. And David had that 3-hit game, including 2 doubles in the Josh Colmenter shutout at San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. And then against the Giants the next day, hit a home run, but has not had a base hit since. trying to get some consistent ABs. Well, that'll get it done. Get out of here. David Peralta, his third. And it's 5-3 Diamondbacks. And Bob Brenly, it's Taco Tuesday.
I told you. Top of the show, Taco Tuesday. Anytime. Yes, indeed. 6 tacos, 5 runs.
Yeah, that's Johnny.
You only get 3 times. Nice going, David.
Yasmani Tomas.
That ball was belted. He doesn't hit any cheap ones.
Halfway up. Every time we take that shot, it reminds me of the Fat Albert cartoon. Never watched Fat Albert?
No.
Saturday mornings as a kid, they'd tell a joke and they'd have that cutaway shot of all the guys laughing. It kind of looked like that right there.
Well, I'll be Fat Albert all night long for a couple of 2-run homers.
Well, he got a fat pitch right there, and he drilled it. Still vibrating, a sensation off the bat. 104 miles an hour. Number 3 for David.
Well, we've talked about it before, too. When a hitter squares a ball up like that right on the sweet spot of the bat, you feel absolutely no vibration in your hands. That's how some of the big home run hitters know. Every time they make solid contact, get the ball in the air, they know when it's gone.
Tomas ahead, 3 balls and a strike. Shot high over the mound. LeMahieu behind the bag. Yasmani beats it out. Hit high and slow. LeMahieu was camped out underneath, but Tomas had enough to get up the line. Another look. Boom.
Pitch up above the belt. And watch David. I mean, immediately at the point of contact, right there, he can tell by the feel in his hands that ball is not coming back.
Almost hit the orange people.
Yasmani Tomas once again showing surprising speed. I mean, that was going to be a tough play for LeMahieu either way, but Yasmani was busting it down that first baseline.
He had a good night last night with that athleticism. We saw a little more tonight here.
Bouncing right out in front of home plate. Just put your head down and run through the bag. Get yourself an infield hit.
0-1 on Aaron Hill. This is skied to shallow right. LeMahieu wants it out there. And that's the first out here in the 4th. Tell you what, Kyle Kendrick, the Rockies thought he'd be a good fit for them. He can sink it a little bit and got a good changeup, but this is just his 5th start of the year. He's already given up 7 home runs, and he's got to pitch the rest of the year in Coors Field.
Yeah, 5 home runs in 12 innings at Coors. That does not bode well for the rest of the season for Kyle Kendrick.
Hey, Tuffy goes a wish. Tuffy grounded out his first time. Gonzalez. 2 down. And now we're going to see a pinch hitter for Andrew Chafin. Danny Dorn is going to take the at bat. And Danny's still looking for his first big league hit.
Tonight's as good a night as any.
The 30-year-old rookie, he'll be 31 in July. His first look at the big leagues. Left hand hitting Danny Dorn. 0 for 3 so far to start his big league career. He's going to walk in 2 strikeouts. 10 years in the minor leagues. And here he is. Called up from AAA Reno after a good spring training. He was hitting over 470 for Phil Nevin down there with the Aces, including a couple of home runs. And they go into the defensive shift for Danny Dorn. The Dorn shift is on. You see Tulo, the shortstop, basically playing second base.
Yeah, this is quite the advanced scouting for a guy that's got 3 major league at bats.
Some serious metrics at play right here. With the analytics and the metrics and the whole thing.
It's been pointed out by the truck that the Diamondbacks and the Rockies do share Salt River Fields in spring training, so maybe they had some scouts sneak over to our side of the complex.
Saw a lot of Danny this spring. He had a good camp. Chases a high 2-1 pitch there, a little changeup.
Changeup up and out over the plate. Look, Henrik, I said it a little while ago. He's just kind of been scared off of his fastball. He's still using it, but he's rarely throwing it for a strike. Instead, trying to throw that changeup and cut fastball around the edges.
It's full 3-2. There goes Tomas, ball 4. Another walk for Dorn. And now 2 on, 2 out for A.J. Pollock. First walk issued by Kyle Kendrick tonight. Mario Prieto and David Peralta. A.J. singled and scored to lead off the game for the Diamondbacks. He grounded out his last time up, 1 for 2. In there for strike 1. So AJ now with his hit streak at 8 games, he's hit safely in 11 of his last 12. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Daniel Hudson will get the 5th. Belted to right. Gonzalez at the wall. And he's got it. So the Diamondbacks lead 2, but they get 2 more. David Peralta sends it out of here, his 3rd of the year, and the Diamondbacks lead it 5-3.
The 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Colorado.
New pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Daniel Hudson. Time for shopping between innings at the 47 brand store, brand new here at the ballpark. Everything from 47 brand, or if that's not enough for you, check out the brand newly remodeled team shop with brand 47 in there, and Majestic and Nike and everything else you can think of. Daniel Hudson, his 7th appearance of the year. And Justin Morneau, 2 for 2 so far, leads off the Colorado 5th. Diamondbacks overshift on the right-hand side for Morneau, who doubled and scored in the 2nd and singled back in the 3rd. Well, this guy Morneau has been an MVP. He's been an all-star 4 times. And last year, his first in Colorado, he won his first career batting title. It's been a very nice pickup for the Rockies, and it looked like with all the concussion issues that he had, his career might end, but he has really done a good job getting back on track.
Yeah, the fog has lifted.
I mean, he had .319 last year. He was 4 points ahead of the Pirates' Josh Harrison. And he didn't just, get the title. It wasn't just a math thing. He had a run, man. I mean, he went down the stretch last year, hit over .360 in September to win the batting title. Now turned 34 in about 2 weeks or so. The shift is on. Hits right into it. 1 out. Now, he looks like he's got a lot of baseball left, Justin Morneau.
Third baseman.
Who's in the Fox Sports Arizona suite tonight?
Everybody's watching the ball game.
That's what we like to see. Pardon us?
Let me see your ticket, please.
Come on over here.
Nolan Arenado. First pitch. Chris Owings spins and throws it out. Some COD from the Diamondbacks shortstop tonight.
What a nice play. Chris Owings actually, with his footwork, got himself into a position to do that pirouette, backspin, and fire on to Goldie. Crossed over that left foot, planted the right foot, fired a strike across the diamond.
And they'll put the shift back on for Cargo now and leave Owings all by himself over there at shortstop. Tomas playing where the second baseman would be for Cargo, who has singled and struck out. A single, a line drive off the face of Archie Bradley. In the 2nd inning, Archie had to leave the ball game and was down for a while, left under his own power if you're just joining us, and we still don't have word on Archie's condition. Andrew Chafin came on in relief, and now Daniel Hudson starts the 5th. .95 from Huddy. It's 1-2.
Back-to-back 95-mile-an-hour heaters just blew him right by Cargo.
Just does get a piece of it. Cargo looked lighter to you? Said he lost 20 pounds this offseason.
He does, now that you mention it. He looks lighter, and the swing looks longer.
Said he used to eat Cheetos or whatever was in front of him. No problem. But not anymore. He's growing up. He said the hardest part in a man's life, and this is from Carlos Gonzalez, the hardest part in a man's life was when you can't eat whatever you want. Well, get in line, dude.
I hope I never get to that point.
You're doing pretty well. Guy that eats pizza 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Right now, you're just chowing down. It's all good. But, that will end, young man. And Cargo said when a doctor has to tell you what to eat, That's when you finally realize, oh man, I'm getting old. I don't think he's putting down too much cotton candy these days. But he gets the strikeout. He works a 1-2-3-5. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. We'll see Mark Trumbo in the Arizona fifth. So far, Trumbo 2 for 2. Next Sunday, May 10th, you'll get to spend quality family time with the D-backs and Padres, and she'll get to take home the special Mother's Day Ladies Tea, courtesy of Fry's Food Stores. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. That's a good-looking shirt. Have to send a few of those back to Massachusetts. Howdy Club here at the ballpark. Chris Owings leads off the Diamondback fifth against Kyle Kendrick. CO singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 2. Owings, Goldie, Trumbo 2, 3, and 4. I like Chris Owings in the 2-hole. Arenado. That's just where base hits go to die.
Even held that ball for a moment, letting Chris Owings get down that first baseline and then just fired a fastball across the diamond. This guy's got a big arm to go along with his soft hands. Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Goldie, an RBI single. He scored a run in the first. And his 3-hit night last night, as Christian Bergman is apparently ready to go for the Rockies. Goldie's 3-hit night last night, his first multi-hit game since April 15th. It had been 10 games. And his RBI tonight, just his second on this homestand. But the offense has come alive here tonight. 5 runs on 7 hits so far.
A single and RBI for Goldie back in the first inning and hit an absolute missile right at Charlie Blackmon in center field for an out in the third.
Just a rope almost from the plate to the pool. And Goldie's 3-hit night last night, all singles, and in a way it was a mini test case for what's been happening with the Diamondbacks offense, at least coming into tonight. Goldie on base 3 times last night, even stole a base, but did not score a run. He was left stranded 3 times. But tonight, 5 runs on 7 hits. Just does get a piece there. It's 2-2. Goldie up there now. Mark Trumbo on deck behind him. Trumbo already with 2 hits tonight. And those two in uniform together last season only 39 times. So I'm trying to get Gold Rumbo moving here. Lays off and it's full 3-2. We got David Peralta. Long home run his last time up. Coming up behind Trumbo. Squibber fair down the right field line. Goldie will take the turn. Cargo picks it up near the wall. It rolls away, and Goldschmidt has a double. 3rd double this year for Goldie.
Right fielder.
Well, they're not all bullets. That one just over the bag and then into foul territory down that right field line. Goldie hustles into second base with his 3rd double of the season. You get the feeling he's going to start hitting a few more of those doubles. Last year he had 8 after 19 games, finished with 39. The year before that he had 5 after 19 games, finished with 36. And back in 2012 he had the same number he has right now, 3, and he finished with 43.
Blocked by Hundley behind the plate. Trumbo a 2-run triple in the 1st. Singled and scored a run in the 4th. After he was 2 for 4 last night. So he's up to 303 on the year.
How about 2 triples in the same game? Just go ahead and hit it over the fence. You don't have to run hard on those.
Mark said last night after 4 straight losses that it's time for the Diamondbacks to come out with some passion for this ball game and get back on the right track, and they certainly did that. The first 4 batters in the ball game for the Diamondbacks, Trumbo included, had base hits. Gets this one up in the air and gone. Mark Trumbo, his 2nd, and it's 7-3 Diamondbacks. Well, you wanted it over the fence.
That's better than legging out a triple. Just jog around the bases.
Trumbo 3 for 3.
Double away from the cycle. Tripled in the 1st, singled in his last at bat, and this long 2-run homer to left field. Went down and got it.
Second home run of the ball game for the Diamondbacks. Peralta homered his last time up, and here he is again. Now 8 homers given up this year by Kyle Kendrick. That one was majestic. 102 off the bat.
Thank you.
Peralta rakes one down the right field line. That's a foul ball. They'll stop at second. 3rd double of the year for David Peralta. And the Diamondbacks are feasting on Kyle Kendrick.
Third baseman, Yasmani Tomas.
They've had Bergman ready in the bullpen. Some activity down there again, and here comes Walt Weiss. A double, a homer, and a double. And he's going to make the move right here. Diamondbacks lead 7-3 and threatening more. Back after this. By Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees. By Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers. And by Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing. Choose Chaz. This looked like about where Mark Trumbo's home run landed out there. Very deep left center field. Mark's second of the year. It's a 7-3 ball game now. And the new pitcher for the Rockies, the right-hander Christian Bergman, a rookie last year. Made 10 starts, went 3-5. The ERA near 6. He's made 1 start this year. He comes in tonight out of the bullpen. Yasmani Tomas singled his last time up. He's got Peralta at second base. And the Diamondbacks, 3 straight batters with extra base hits here. 5 extra base hits tonight. They had 3 extra base hits in their previous 4 games combined. So the offense has come alive against Rockies pitching here in game 2 of this 3-game set. That one misses. It's 2-0.
Bergman comes in and immediately throws his best pitch, that straight changeup. That's his out pitch. He missed with it, however. Has a fastball that sits right around 90. Also will throw an occasional slider.
Tomas gives it a belt down the right field line. It's slicing foul. Got the start at third base last night, even though he didn't get a base hit. Had by far his best game for the Diamondbacks. Hit the ball hard. Man. Heads up base running play. A steal a run. Had a solid night defensively at third. 1 for 2 so far tonight. See if he can join the hit parade here. I should say the extra base hit parade. By the way, getting a lot of requests on Twitter. Still no word on Archie Bradley, and believe me, as soon as we get official confirmation of anything, we will be the first to pass it along to you, Diamondback fans, but there is no news as of yet. Three and 1 to Yasmani Tomas. Just couldn't resist. 3 and 2.
He's thrown that changeup about 28% of the time this year. It's his best secondary pitch to go along with that 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's a nice drop to it there. Bergman's got a lot going on up there with the hair and the chain and the facial hair and the whole thing. Tim Lincecum's baby brother or something up there. Bergman from Glendale, California. He pitched at Cal Irvine. 24th round pick by the Rockies 5 years ago.
There we go.
Bounces that one. Peralta will get third, and Tomas has the base on balls. Tomas, the at-bats have looked better and better.
He's seen a few more pitches. There was a stretch there where he rarely got past 2 or 3 pitches in an at-bat, but has been a little more selective in the pitches he chooses to swing at him. He's taken a couple of walks recently.
Aaron Hill. Aaron getting the start at second base tonight. He's 0 for 2. He has popped up twice. And in there at under 150 on the year. With a shortstop. Too low to Mayhew. Aaron Hill beats it out. Peralta scores. It's 8-3.
shell-shocked. Oh, Kendrick. Lots of extra base hits flying around Chase Field tonight. Good to see for the D-backs offense.
Healthy goes away, show for 2. Diamondbacks faced Bergman twice last year. A couple of starts. Over his glove, Tulowitzki is there, the barehander, and he throws him out. But the Diamondbacks get 3, led by Mark Trumbo, his second of the year, a long 2-run homer. And as we go to the 6th at Chase Field, they lead the Rockies 8-3. Saturday, fans, MLB on Fox Sports 1 continues. Another doubleheader, starting with a West Coast Interleague showdown. It's the Angels and the Giants, followed by the Reds and the Braves. Coverage begins at 12:30 on Fox Sports 1 and is streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Daniel Hudson back out there, his second inning of work. And the Diamondbacks trying to ham and egg it out there after they lost Archie Bradley, who was struck in the face by a line drive off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez in the second inning. We've seen Andrew Chafin, now Daniel Hudson. That's Ken Crenshaw to the far right of your screen there, the head trainer for the Diamondbacks. He appears to be giving an update to Chip Hale and Glenn Sherlock in the Diamondback dugout. So maybe there is some news trickling in on Archie. You can see Ken maybe indicating where the ball got Archie on the right side of his face. It was just an absolute missile off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. And it hit Archie square in the right side of the face. Nick Hunter drops that one in front of Peralta for a leadoff single. But there's still no official word, fans. I know you're all waiting, and as soon as we have it, believe us up here, we'll pass it along to you.
Turn.
It speaks to what a tough guy Archie is, that he was able to remain conscious, got up to his feet, walked off the field under his own power. You could clearly see the right side of his face was already beginning to swell drastically, but I don't know, a lot of lesser men would still be laying out there.
And Ken Crenshaw and Ryan DePanfilo and the whole training staff here, they were out there like a shot, immediately attending to Archie, and we know he's in good hands. DJ LeMahieu. Excuse me, check swing back to the mound. Huddy picks it up, and Hundley advances 90 feet. And Bergman, the pitcher, will take the at bat here with one out in the 6th.
Pitcher Christian Bergman.
He's had a couple of at-bats already this season. Actually, 3 plate appearances. He put down a sac bunt, struck out, and somehow made an out his other time. 0 for 2. You see his career numbers.
Hey fans, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. You can watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. You'll get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Blackout rules apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. All in a strike to Bergman. EY Sr. down there at first. Good range out there by Gary Gagne. Our Golden Glover down the right field line. Barry Zinn's manning left field tonight here at the ballpark. Charlie Blackman.
Just watching the way Gary Gagne jumped on that ball down the right field line. I wonder if our Golden Glovers are using advanced metrics. You know, they seem to know when the ball's coming their way.
Well, the Diamondbacks do have a director of analytics now, Dr. Ed Lewis, and he is deeply involved in all this stuff, works very closely with Andy Green in positioning the defenders, and I see no reason why that Ed would not have a plan for the Golden Glovers as well. There's Dr. Ed Lewis, newest addition to the Diamondbacks. And Ed, in fact, looks like he's charting that right now, actually, based on the information we just saw, and then they'll adjust accordingly for the next game. A lot of numbers to crunch. Charlie Blackman, an RBI double. He scored a run his last time up. But Hudson's ahead 0-2. That would be next level.
Oh, yeah. You guys move their chairs a little closer to the foul line or a little farther into foul territory, depending on the hitter and the pitcher.
Should you sit or stand, be prepared,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe you can take it easy, sit back a bit. There's Ed figuring all that out right now. He's a terrific guy to talk to. Big baseball fan. 97 there from Buddy. And he is just thrilled to be a part of the ball club here. And works very closely with Tony and Stu and Chip Hale, Andy Green. And Ed says that he's received such a great welcome here from the organization. And everybody is so open to the information that he's gathering and collecting that the process has gone really well so far. Belted to center. Hunley is going to score easily, and it's an 8-4 game. And Blackman's 2 for 4.
Left fielder Corey Dickerson.
That's what these Rockies do. They just hit and hit and hit until they're out of outs in a ball game. Not always the most disciplined group at the plate, but swing so aggressive.
Blackman was on base twice last night, a pair of singles. He's got a double and a single tonight. 2 RBIs. He scored a run. Very effective leadoff man. Here's Corey Dickerson now. Blackmon takes off with that good speed. This one is in the seats.
Pretty good jump over there at first base, but Corey Dickerson, being a left-handed hitter, didn't really see his leadoff guy break for second base. Saw a pitch to his liking, went ahead and put a swing on it. That's where occasionally a right-handed hitter would go ahead and take that pitch, even if it's a strike, and give Blackmon a chance to steal his way into scoring position.
Dickerson is a swing hard in case you hit it kind of guy up there. Very quick hands.
Gets those arms going. Does Corey Dickerson in that batter's box as he's waiting on Daniel Hudson's next delivery. Both arms are going up and down.
It's a big league waggle.
Huge waggle.
It is right up top there.
Well, like most good hitters, by the time Daniel Hudson lets the ball go, he's in pretty much that standard hitting position you see all good hitters in.
There's those bat handles that he retaped before every game. New gloves all the time. He's got the whole thing going. Now we're waggling. Mentioned that last night that Corey Dickerson every single day without fail rubs all his bats clean with alcohol, takes all the scuffs off, and then retapes all the bats. Every day. Up the middle. Chris Owens behind the bag. Bobbles it. He's got no play. Long way to go for CO to get to that one. And the Rockies have 2 on and 2 outs for Tula.
Shortstop.
Just hate to extend the innings for the guys in the middle of this Rockies lineup. That ball climbed right up his left forearm, hit him in the chest, and by then everybody's safe.
Put the error on the board. E6. Here comes Mike Harkey now. Well, he was rolling along here. 2 outs, but 2 have reached with Tulowitzki coming up. Fans, later tonight on Fox Sports Live, 13 other Major League games in action. We'll have highlights from across the league, plus the latest on the city of Baltimore. And you need to hear how this affects the Orioles. There's a lot going on there, of course. So all that coming up after the postgame show. Fox Sports Live. They will play a game at Camden Yards tomorrow, closed to the public. The White Sox and the Orioles. So 2 on, 2 outs for Tulowitzki. An RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Well, they just took the error off the board now. So they have ruled that a base hit for Corey Dickerson. No error to the shortstop. And they roll an infield single. This is skied to left. Peralta should have room. And Daniel Hudson strands 2. Diamondbacks lead at 8-4.
For our post-game show, Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink. Joe, the Diamondbacks really jumped on Kyle Kendrick early on this game, and then they tacked on, which was good to see.
Yeah, they did. 4 hits in the first 7 pitches. You got to love the way they came out. And like you said, Jody, when you keep adding on, that usually has good results. But I have a hunch. It's Taco Tuesday.
It is that, no question about it. We will also, of course, pass along any new information on Diamondbacks pitcher Archie Bradley. We'll also have reaction from his teammates and manager Chip Hale, guys.
Thanks very much, guys. Cliff Pennington will hit for the pitcher spot here. Cliff struck out in his only at bat last night. And is 3 for 14 to open the year. He's also walked 6 times. So Cliff's on base percentage right now, right at .450. Interesting circumstance because of the way that Archie Bradley had to leave the ball game with the injury. And again, as Jody mentioned, still no word. It's the scorer's discretion, right? Who gets to be the winning pitcher if the Diamondbacks hang on here? So there's a chance it would be Daniel Hudson. And if it is, it would be Huddy's first career win since 2012. But you'd certainly like to get it under different circumstances. Bounced into the shift. LeMahieu has it. And that's the first out.
Center field, A.J. Pollock.
There's A.J. Pollock. Christian Bergman back out there for the Rockies. A.J. singled and scored in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. And the base hit extended his hit streak to a career high 8 games. Discussion with Mike Harkey and Tuffy Goes a Wish. Good pitch right there for a strike. 0-1. Diamondbacks have been out hit tonight 11-10, but they lead at 8-4. Diamondbacks have been looking for the big hit for a while now. That one is lined right to the shortstop. That one caught Tulowitzki. They had a number of big hits tonight. So another look at Tulo.
Diamondbacks squaring up some balls against this Rockies pitching staff tonight.
Trumbo, the 2-run triple in the first. Peralta, 2-run homer in the 4th. Trumbo, 2-run homer in the 5th. And the 2 home runs were no doubters. Chris Owings, 1 for 3. CO hitting better than 300 over his last 10 games. And he's really begun clawing his way back after that 2 for 23 start, batting second in the order tonight.
And it's coincided with swinging at better pitches. I think CO was just trying to hack his way out of that slump and was swinging at a lot of pitchers' pitches, a lot of pitches out of the zone, but has been a little more selective lately, getting strikes and putting good swings on it.
It's this in the air to center field. Easy play for Blackman. And Bergman works a 1-2-3-6. 7th inning coming up. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 8-4. Quirky, current, and crazy cool stuff. Well, a gorgeous night here in downtown Phoenix as we get ready to say goodbye to April. 8-4, Diamondbacks lead the Rockies. Oliver Perez on to start the 7th inning, and we still await word on the condition of Archie Bradley, who had to leave the game in the 2nd, struck in the face by a line drive off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. 11th appearance for Oliver Perez. We've seen Andrew Chafin, Daniel Hudson, and now the left-hander Perez.
Well, Perez in the game last night came on just to face Carlos Gonzalez in the 6th inning. He walked him and was promptly pulled in favor of Randall Delgado. I think under the circumstances here tonight, Chip Hale's looking for at least one full inning, if not more, out of Oliver Perez.
Justin Morneau has been a thorn in the Diamondbacks side all series so far. He'll lead off the 7th. Morneau doubled and scored in the 2nd, singled in the 3rd. He's 2 for 3. And that big 3-run home run last night against Chase Anderson. There's a strike, 0-1. The shift is on. Justin Morneau, in this era of huge strikeout totals, we were talking about how much baseball it seems like he's got left. This is a guy that just continues to hit well. The batting title last year, he just doesn't strike out much either. Last year, only 60 strikeouts in 550 plate appearances.
That's remarkable.
So he is up there to put it in play. And soon enough, I mean, what are the odds, right?
Put a good whammy on him right there. I like it.
I had that sitting there just waiting for a 2-strike count.
Big sweeping breaking ball from Oli Perez. Starts off the inside corner, breaks all the way across the plate and out of the zone to get the swing and a miss.
All right, I'm done now.
Well, that was good.
Here's Arenado. See what I can dig up on him. Arenado singled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3.
He rarely pops up to the infield.
Almost never. Infinitesimal odds of him popping up to shortstop on the first pitch of the at-bat in 3, 2, 1. And we'll take the strike.
Just won't cooperate.
He's a former Arizona Fall League MVP, Nolan Arenado. Grew up a big Adrian Beltre fan. He certainly fields his position like Beltre. Lifts this in the air to right field. Easy play from Mark Trumbo. 2 up, 2 down for Perez. Here comes Cargo.
Right fielder Carlos Gonzalez.
Carlos Gonzalez has singled and struck out twice. He's 1 for 3. In the lineup with Troy Tulowitzki. Tulo and Cargo in there at the same time. Slow roller foul. And that's critically important for the Rockies. As we've mentioned, first of all, there's the financial investment that the Rockies made in these 2 guys. Tulo and Cargo alone account for just over 35% of their payroll this year. Just those 2 guys. So you've got that type of investment, and then you're dependent on the production as well. Oh, and 2. Oh, they're Goldie Girls.
Goldie Girls.
I like that. Now that's solid
very
work.
Creative.
One a little more Goldie than the other. But come, Mr. Bond.
Wizard of Oz feel about that? I don't know.
She's a Goldie girl. Scoop save there by Tuffy.
Boy, Ollie's breaking them all out tonight. Every possible delivery he could make out of the stretch. We've seen the tee-out, we've seen the quick pitch, we've seen them all, and we've seen a lot of this from Tuffy this year.
A glove hand like a hockey goalie.
He's way off that outside corner. The pitch is even farther away from Cargo, and Tuffy just pops it up in the air and grabs it with a bare hand.
Gonzalez strikes out for the third time tonight. Hey, guess what? Mark Trumbo is a double shot in a cycle. And he's coming up next. Our Gila River game summary, a night of big hits for the Diamondbacks. Mark Trumbo, a 2-run triple in the first. David Peralta, a 2-run homer in the fifth. And Mark Trumbo, a 2-run homer, or pardon me, Peralta in the fourth and Trumbo in the fifth. And where we're going with this is that Trumbo has a triple, a single, and a homer. And he's coming up next after Goldie here in the seventh. So he's a double shy of the cycle.
He's going to make it an RBI double. Goldie on base here leading it off.
Goldie's chipped in. He singled and scored in the first, an RBI single, doubled and scored his last time up. She's a Goldie girl. Uh-oh, the phones. We are like totally blowing up the Twitter. There's a strike. 0-2. A homer for Snow White. Snow White and the Goldie girl.
They're all here tonight.
Like a Saturday morning cartoon. I think Goldie girls could become a thing. That could be big. Maybe next game we see a row of them, 4 or 5. Look like a Robert Palmer video or something. Troy Tulowitzki.
Used to look good to me.
Well, here comes Mark Trumbo. Last Diamondback to hit for the cycle, Aaron Hill, who did it twice in June of 2012. The 18th against the Mariners and the 29th at Milwaukee. And Mark Trumbo is a double shy of his first career cycle right here. It would be the 5th Diamondbacks cycle. Yeah, pardon me, it would be the 6th. He would be the 5th to do it. And the first since Aaron, June 29th, 2012 at Milwaukee. Diamondbacks cycles.
Greg Colburn cycle back in 02 against the Padres at old Qualcomm/Jack Murphy Stadium. Not a triples ballpark, and he needed a triple to complete his cycle. He hit a ball right down the right field line. That's 2.
Take the turn. He's going to go for it. No, he's going to get back there. All right. You're safe for now, Aaron.
Everybody wanted to see him go for 2 right there.
Better judgment kicked in at the last second. Yeah. Mark Trumbo, a 4-for-4 night. Here's the big turn.
Carlos Gonzalez got to that ball pretty quickly and has a cannon for an arm. To quickly finish that story about Greg Colburn, he hit it right down the right field line into the bullpen underneath a bench. There were paper cups and hot dog wrappers and gloves and all kinds of stuff, and it got underneath that bench just long enough for Colby to end up at third base.
Scored at a triple. David Peralta. It's not in the air to center. Easy play for Blackman. Mark Trumbo on base 3 times last night, a walk, a pair of doubles, a 4-hit night tonight. 2 singles, a triple, and a home run. He's got 4 RBIs. Yasmani Tomas had some good at bats tonight. A single in the 4th. He beat out an infield single, and he walked his last time up.
There's 2 guys down at first base for a combined 6 for 8 in this ball game. One of those got 2 hits of his own. Mark Trumbo with 4.
Well, the way this guy's been going, he's due to barrel one up. It's been coming for a while now. Trumbo and Morneau down there. That's 2 extra large baseball players.
Yes, indeed.
It's a lot of ball player right there. Mark's still tired from that big turn. Look out, Dave McKay. Quick feet down there. He's got the hops.
Diamondbacks have instituted kangaroo court this year, and that's the kind of offense that will cost you a few dollars.
Not trying to stretch.
Not trying to go for 2.
Are we sending a mixed message here? Base hit for Tomas. Gets down in the gap, and now we'll see how fast Mark can run. Andy Green's going to send him in Jerome, and he will make it. Tomas hits for 3rd, and he will not make it. But the run scores. It's 9-4. They put the run on the board. We go to the 8th. 9-4 Diamondbacks. Vacations is set to take you to a Diamondbacks game. Just stop by this month's participating Cox Solution store in Casa Grande, and you can enter for your chance to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus, driven by Bob Brenly. No, just kidding. You'll receive round-trip transport to the Diamondbacks game on June 6th. Registration ends May 25th. June 6th, we are playing the Mets, right? Yeah, the Mets. Saturday night against the Mets. Best team in baseball right now. Mark Trumbo, he's earned a breather.
Leading off for Colorado.
Changes defensively for the Diamondbacks. Brad Ziegler on the mound. He'll work the 8th after Oliver Perez worked the 7th. Nick Hundley leads it off for the Rockies. A whole bunch of Diamondbacks have moved around defensively. We'll start at second base. Chris Owings moves from shortstop to second, replacing Aaron Hill. Nick Ahmed is in there at short now to fill in for CO. And Aaron has moved from second to third, taking over for Yasmani Tomas. Ender Inciarte is in right for Mark Trumbo. And Yasmani thrown out at third there, but in the process collected his first major league RBI. There's Aaron Hill at third. One away.
Defensive changes for the D-backs this inning. Now in the game at shortstop, number 13, Nick Ahmed. Moving from shortstop to second base, number 16, Chris Owens.
No surprise, Brad Ziegler comes into the ball game.
Number 2, Aaron Hill.
It's pounded into the ground.
He has been
at the plate for Colorado.
Just relentless out of that Diamondback bullpen. Let's go downstairs to Kate.
Well, guys, Brad Ziegler left Saturday's game with a souvenir after setting the D-backs record with his 254th appearance. The righty took home a ball to add to his collection. Ziegler has made it clear he's first a fan of the game. He's collected a lot of baseball cards, a lot of balls down his career. He's building a home right now with an office that is just going to feature 800 baseballs, from autograph balls to some that have meant a lot to him in his career, like that one just the other day for that appearance record.
Thank you, Kate. He has just been tremendous. And you'd never know, coming off a microfracture surgery on that knee, which, as we mentioned, it's that front landing leg for Brad, which takes so much torque because of his unusual delivery. And he had a grueling winter rehabbing from that knee operation. And there were moments in the spring where you thought, oh, he's not quite back. He had a couple of rough outings this spring, but boy, since the first day here, he has been the old Brad Ziegler and better than ever.
Yeah, a couple of those outings early in spring training, it almost looked like he didn't quite trust that knee yet. But by the end of Cactus League play and into the beginning of the regular season, he looks like the Brad Ziegler of old.
Rafael Yanoa will hit for the pitcher. We're getting an update now on Archie Bradley that we will pass along to you momentarily, fans. I know you've been waiting all night, but we're just now getting word from the Diamondbacks, so we'll have that for you shortly. We're getting official word as we speak. And as soon as we clarify the information, you'll have it. In what was a horrifying moment here tonight at Chase Field. Right now, the Diamondbacks are telling us that Archie never lost consciousness out on the mound. He is at St. Joseph's Hospital for further testing, and they do expect a complete update after the game. So that's all the info we have right now. But the fact that he never lost consciousness, I'm sure, is encouraging.
Very encouraging. And I'm sure the Diamondbacks are already starting to play the what-if game. You know, what if Archie's going to be lost for a significant amount of time? Who are we going to call up in the minor leagues? Do we need another starter? Can we slide Randall Delgado into the rotation? Andrew Chafin into the rotation? I'm sure the wheels are spinning. Just a few doors down here at press box level.
Well, there's an off day. They have a lot of minor league options at Reno. Vidal Nuno has been terrific, but just saw a shot of Ryan DePanfilo, the assistant trainer in the dugout, who does so much of the work here on the training staff, and he seems to be giving more information to Patrick Corbin there and Mark Grace. But The Diamondbacks say a complete update on Archie after the ball game. He never lost consciousness and is undergoing further testing at St. Joseph's Hospital.
I was joking with Ken Crenshaw and Ryan DePanflo earlier on this homestand about how much airtime those guys got last year with all the injuries the Diamondbacks had. They said, yeah, we would like it if we go through an entire season without being on television. That's never going to happen, but those guys do such a great job keeping guys healthy and on the field.
They work the longest hours, the equipment men and the training staff. Ziegler rings up Yanoa, and that ends the eighth. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 9-4.
Joe Borowski, we've got your post-game show, Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink, right after the game. And Joe, of course, we're like everyone else, awaiting the full medical update on Archie Bradley that we will have after the game and we'll have here on the post-game show. You know, when Archie left after 1 1/3 with the injury, the bullpen had a pretty daunting task ahead, didn't they?
Yeah, and one of the toughest things for the bullpen is when you get extended like they did today. Guys get multiple innings that they're not used to, but they really stepped up to it. And we'll look back at their outing and show you exactly how they were able to keep Colorado down.
Joe, we'll take a closer look at that, guys. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to Diamondback Live post-game show as all the fans are waiting for a complete report on Archie Bradley, and we're told we will have that for you from the Diamondbacks after the ball game. New pitcher for Colorado, the right-hander Jorge Rondon, just recalled yesterday from AAA Albuquerque.
Big fastball, average velocity at 96 miles an hour. Also throws a hard slider in the high 80s. He pitched exactly 1 inning last year for the St. Louis Cardinals. Did not give up a hit or a run, walked 1 batter, did not strike out anybody.
Yeah, Rockies saw a guy on waivers that threw upper 90s, and they grabbed him back in November. And here he is. Aaron Hill, 0 for 3. He'll lead off the 8th. And Aaron hit safely in his first 3 games this year, but since then he has gone 3 for 39. And he's fighting it right now at 146. Speaking about Archie Bradley, we had a moment here in the booth during the commercial break where we realized, of course, that Archie Bradley at St. Joseph's Hospital undergoing further evaluation. St. Joseph's, of course, is home to the Barrow Neurological Institute, and that is one of the best places you can be in the world with a head injury. Aaron Hill bidding for a base hit, and he's got it, getting away from the shift. As LeMahieu couldn't quite get him in time.
Mayhew playing on the shortstop side of second base had a long way to go to get to that ball. Aaron Hill realizes it and busts it down that first base line, gets himself an infield hit.
Now 13 hits for the D-backs. Here's Tuffy goes a wish. Tuffy 0 for 3.
Well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. They're not always Hall of Famers. Class C catcher Jim Martin, playing for the Tampa Oilers, was struck by lightning behind the plate. The 20-year-old's mask flew 20 feet past the pitcher's mound. He was knocked unconscious, but he was a catcher. He played the next day. You know, I get tired of reading about, Stan Musial and Hank Aaron.
I like, it's kind of an everyman anecdote.
Absolutely. Knocked his mask out past the mound.
20 feet. All right, sir.
Well, there's some good ones coming up later this summer. I take a look at this every day, and over the years, I've got my favorites. So
that is an extensive part of your daily research, going through this days.
Looking for oddities. Not so much Hall of Famers and their records or home runs. How many home runs did he hit in the month? Who got hit by lightning today?
Tough he couldn't have lightning strike there. He strikes out. And here's Ender Inciarte. Took over for Mark Trumbo in right field, batting in the 9th spot right now. Pitcher spot is 6th in the Diamondback order. Rockies in the 9th will have the top of their order: Blackman, Dickerson, and Tulowitzki. Addison Reed warming up right now in the Diamondback bullpen. First at bat tonight for Ender. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Ender 1 for 5 last night. And a single and an RBI. He's now hit safely in 5 straight. My favorites this days are when you find this day in history about a guy, and then you tell us a story that we can't use on the air. If we're going to figure out a way to incorporate those into the actual broadcast. Rub some people the wrong way, but it'd be darn entertaining. Ender finds a gap. And Aaron Hill's on the run. That one rolls to the track, and here comes Aaron. And it's an RBI double for Ender Inciarte. 10-4 D-backs. Inciarte now with a 6-game hitting streak. 14 hits, 10 runs.
Nice approach there by Ender. Got a high-octane fastball up and out over the plate. Just put a nice quick swing on it and let Rondon supply the power. Aaron Hill motoring all the way around from first base. A little bit of a challenge knowing Troy Tulowitzki's the cut man out there and the arm that he has, but Andy Green's been very aggressive, flagging D-backs runners around third base no matter who the cut man is.
A.J. Pollock. A.J. singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 4. If the guy who had his catcher's mask knocked off by lightning was the inspiration for the natural. Not quite the same dramatic effect, but Roy Hobbs, breaking light towers. But catcher's mask 20 feet past the mound is pretty impressive.
I can only imagine what that must have felt. Ooh. I mean, I've had some pretty good electrical shocks as I've tried to be a handyman around the house from time to time.
Hence the year-long remodeling project.
Been thrown off a ladder across a room. They're standing straight up. I can't imagine that's anything close to getting struck by lightning. Don't want to find out.
I don't mess with the wires.
I don't anymore.
There he's in.
Knows better to cross that line.
Gotta check those metrics. I know. I just got handed a note from the governor in the radio booth next door.
Proclamation?
Not quite that significant, but it was a nice note. If you consider the fact that Ender came in for Mark Trumbo and got the double, Diamondback right fielders tonight have hit for the cycle.
Nice. I like the way the governor's thinking over there.
That's Greg Schulte. I doubt that one came from Leo. Governor usually digs those up on his own. Diamondbacks now with 10 runs, first time since last September 13th, 33 games ago. That's out of play. So Mark Trumbo got the triple, the single, and the homer, and Inciarte contributed the double. 4-hit night for Mark. Three-two pitch. Ball forward. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool plays of the game. Mark Trumbo's big nights. A 2-run triple in the first.
Every time he stepped to the plate.
And
then back up the middle. The long home run to left center field. And then we were rooting for two right here. Keep running.
Chris Owings now. First pitch, sky to shallow right center field. Cargo.
In a totally unrelated this day in baseball
See, this
history.
is how it starts.
Back in 2010, Luke Hughes became the 5th player in Twins history to hit a home run in his first at bat. One of the other 4 was first base coach Dave McKay. First at bat in the big leagues, went deep.
Nice. Luke Hughes is the Aussie, right?
Yeah, good call. Yeah, Rick Rennick, Dave McKay, Gary Gaetti, Andre David, and Luke Hughes. So now you know.
Goldie, 2 for 4. Goldie's girl. Telling you, Goldie's girls have become a thing. Stock up on the gold paint. Stores all over town. The glitter. And in this case, the glitters really is gold.
Yes, indeed.
In the dugout. Goldie, an RBI single. He scored a run in the first. Doubled and scored in the 5th. Hundley can't quite hang on. 10-4 ball game. I think she painted herself. She's earned the moment, I think.
Whether it's school or work tomorrow. Give her a break. I mean, you went a lot of effort with this outfit tonight, and I imagine some of that gold glitter will still be there tomorrow morning. Goldie goes deep right here. She may just go to work like that.
Might have to. 2-2. 98 misses. Now, I think if she put some tacos like you have on your sign around her sign, you need to have some. I mean, you did that nice touch with the extra tacos there. And we really sort of incorporate a theme. Yanked that one at 98 again. And it's full 3-2. One more against the Rockies here tomorrow night. Josh Colmenter and Jordan Lyles. Pre-game show starts at 6. Diamondback Live at Fox Sports Arizona. 3-2. How about one for Goldie's girl?
That's a good swing on a slider right there from a guy that's throwing 98 miles an hour. To be able to stay back, foul that one straight away.
Easy to give away this at bat, too. 8th inning, 10-4. Not Gold.
Not a chance.
Cincinnati will score. Look right behind. And it's a 2-run double for Goldie's girl. So after 5 for 60 with runners in scoring position over their previous 8 games, the Diamondbacks with men in scoring position tonight, 5 for 10.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Good at bat against a guy with a big fastball, nasty slider. Goldie worked him and worked him and worked him. Finally got into a situation where he could anticipate that fastball, and he did not miss it. Down into the left field corner, making Goldie's girl very happy and everybody else here at the ballpark tonight.
12 runs on 15 hits. So a 3-hit night for Goldie. He's got 3 RBIs. He's scored twice so far. A chance for Nick Ahmed now. Nick batting 135. He singled and scored a run last night. Addison Reed more than ready in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Gives it a ride to deep center field. Ran out of ballpark. Diamondbacks get 3 more, and we go to the 9th. They lead at 12-4. Fox Gig Life high-speed highlights as we climb aboard the ninth inning here. 12-4 Diamondbacks. They've out hit the Rockies 15-11. And the sixth pitcher on for Arizona is the closer, Addison Reed. Trying to get some work in here. Diamondback relievers have retired the last 7 they've faced. Daniel Hudson, Oliver Perez, Brad Ziegler. And now Addison Reed, his 7th appearance this year. Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man, leads it off in the ninth. He's got a pair of hits, a double, a single. He scored a run. He's got 2 RBIs. And again, the Diamondbacks putting together a pitching staff here tonight after losing Archie Bradley. Struck in the face by a line drive off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez in the 2nd inning. Blackmon hits this into the right field corner. Inciarte's over there. He holds Blackmon to a single. That's his 3rd hit.
Good jump.
FoxSportsArizona.com. All the online local sports coverage you won't find anywhere else. You'll get post-game analysis from Jack Magruder. Reaction to Kirk Gibson's Parkinson's diagnosis and Archie Bradley injury updates. You'll have all the latest news on Archie at FoxSportsArizona.com. And again, Archie, the Diamondbacks are telling us tonight, never lost consciousness out on the mound after being struck by that line drive. Taken to St. Joseph's Hospital for further testing, and a complete medical update expected following the ball game tonight. Corey Dickerson. Blackmon will take 2nd on defensive indifference. 2-1 to Dickerson. Dickerson walked in the 3rd and singled in the 6th.
Saw a little different wrinkle from Addison Reed in this inning. He threw a changeup to Corey Dickerson. Well, that's a pitch we haven't seen him use. Stopped by Tuffy on a slider behind the left-handed hitter. Hey, if I was an NHL team, I would be talking to Tuffy Goswish.
Can he skate?
Can you skate? I'll give you a lot more pads than you have on right now. All you got to do is stop that puck. Addison, as you mentioned, just getting an inning of work here, trying to iron some things out. Last time we saw him was the middle game of that Pittsburgh series. He gave up the winning run and ended up taking the loss in that game. I'd like to see him keep his pitch count down here, get 3 quick outs.
Well, he has worked with an altered delivery. It's actually the same motion he used in college at San Diego State and with the White Sox. He has always thrown across his body, which means stepping with that front leg, that plant foot out toward third base as he releases the ball. But last year they found that front step with Addy became a little too pronounced. And instead of being about 6 inches over toward third, it was more like 12, 15 inches over toward third. And he strikes out Dickerson with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That velocity is good to see. So they looked at the video and they compared it from last year versus what they saw in Chicago. And so now he's about 6 inches closer to the first base side of the mound with that left foot than he was last year. And the coaches believe that by sort of turning down the volume on that crossfire motion, making it less severe, that will save wear and tear on his shoulder and create a tougher angle for the hitters. Troy Tulowitzki. This is what it looks like.
Watch the left foot as he plants, what Bert was saying, on the third base side of the rubber and then throws back across his body a little bit. That helps with his deception, but it's a very fine line between too much crossfire and not enough.
Well, he said back in the middle of March that the alterations was something everybody was kind of making a bigger deal out of it than it was for him. Working really just on the stride, not stepping so far across the body. But for him, it was also a location issue, because when he was really cross-firing, that glove side fastball down and away to righties, a lot easier to hit the glove with that pitch. How about that one away from the righty right there?
Good break on that slider.
He gets this pitch going, he is a lot to handle.
He had a good one in the early going this season, then it kind of deserted him for a while. That's a nasty slider right there.
That's the pitch you're looking for right there from Addison Reed. Get that 94-mile-an-hour fastball back with that big slider, then you've got something going. Center field for AJ. And Addy, when the velocity was down a tick last year, it was low 90s rather than mid 90s. The slider wasn't quite working. He had to be perfect, absolutely perfect with his location. And as you were saying earlier, I mean, the best pitch that you can, Kurt Schilling always says this all the time, the best pitch you can throw is a fastball down and away.
Yep.
So when he was cross-firing across his body so dramatically and to such a severe degree last year, he just could not hit that outside corner against right-hand hitters. So they're hoping that the less drastic crossfire action will open up the outside part of the plate for Reed here. 2 down now, Justin Morneau. Smacked into left. They're going to wave the runner. Blackman will come in and score, and it's a 12-5 ball game. RBI for Morneau. That's his third hit tonight.
Third baseman, Nolan Arenado.
And a reminder, Diamondback Live post-game show follows our ball game, and we will have a complete update on the condition of Archie Bradley for you on Fox Sports Arizona. So stay tuned, fans. As soon as the game ends, we'll go to Diamondbacks Live and we'll pass along the information we have for you. Arenado looks at strike one. You might have a shot at this one, BB.
Yep. Hung up on the upper deck.
0-2. Rubber game of this 3-game set tomorrow. Josh Colmenter and Jordan Lyles. Diamondback Live pregame show starts at 6 on Fox Sports Arizona. Everyone is drifting behind the Rocky dugout and in the seats.
And the other game we were keeping our eye on down in L.A. Giants 2-1 over the Dodgers in the top of the 9th inning. Buster Posey with a 2-run bomb. So far, that's all the support that Madison Bumgarner has needed.
That was Bumgarner and Kershaw round 2 this year. Hadbun was still in there in the ninth, apparently. 0-2. Max Scherzer was mentioning the need for the DH in the National League, and Hadbun put an end to that. Didn't go. Marty Foster down there.
Strong hand, strong wrist. Arenado able to check his swing on that low delivery from Addison Reed.
"17 runs, 28 hits between the two ball clubs. Right field, Inciarte. Diamondbacks win it. The losing streak ends at 4. And a big night for Mark Trumbo. Well, Mark had a 2-run triple, a single and scored a run, a long 2-run homer, another single and a run scored. He leads the way as the Diamondbacks pour it on here against the Rockies. 15 hits, 12 runs.
A lot of people don't believe in momentum in the game of baseball, but you'd like to think the outburst by the Diamondbacks offense tonight might have some carryover value against Jordan Lyles in that ball game tomorrow.
Well, they started off with 4 hits. The first 4 batters reached with base hits against Kyle Kendrick, but they lost their starter Archie Bradley in the second inning. Struck in the face by a line drive off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. He has been receiving medical attention throughout the evening here, and as soon as they have information, they will pass it along to you. Let's start that process right now. Diamondback Live postgame show is on the air with Jody.
Thanks so much, Steve. Yes, we will.